Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Colts Coffee and Conversation. My name is Carl.
And I'm Holly.
I'd like to welcome you back to the wrap-up show. That's right, we are finished with Wild Wild Country.
Yay, finally.
No, don't celebrate too much. I know you're deep down inside.
That's true, I'm going to miss this.
Can we talk about more? I'm pretty sure we can go more in depth, but it's time to move on. Like all good things, they must come to an end. But before we get into it, we must do our little disclaimer. Little things that we must do in this realm of podcast. We are just normal people. This is for entertainment purposes only. We do not hold degrees in anything in religious-based things. If you don't like it, turn it off. But if you love us, subscribe to us. That's right. Give us 5 stars. It helps us out, makes us more popular, and it keeps the engine going, keeps the engine running. We do appreciate it. And if you give us 1 star, I ain't reading it. Don't waste your time. Come on. Stop it. This is good stuff and you know it. We can also be reached at Twitter at Colts Coffee Convo. Also at Instagram at Colts Coffee Convo. And also Facebook, Colts Coffee Conversation. And of course we do have our email address, coltscoffeeconvo@gmail.com. If you have anything you want to add to, comments, or even if you want to give us a little bit more inside detail, we would eat it like a delicious prime rib and cut.
Wow, it sounds like someone's hungry.
I'm starving, actually. Alrighty.
Oh, and what are we drinking?
Oh, yes. I got myself. I'm kicking it old school, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going with my first love when it came to a cup of coffee. I am having a cappuccino.
A cappuccino?
A cappuccino, yes. That's what I first called it when I was, 12, 13?
No, you were much younger than that.
Oh, great parenting, Mom. Just kidding.
No, it was Aunt Heather.
Yeah, Aunt Heather. It's all your fault. Thank you. Thank you for introducing me to the greatness of a cappuccino. Anyway, what are you drinking?
I am drinking French roast with butter pecan cream.
Sweetness. Alrighty, let's get into it. Okay, so like I said, this is the wrap-up show. We're just going to kind of share just a few likes and dislikes from each, well, not all of our characters, because there's a lot of characters in this play. But we're going to cover the major ones, the ones that had pretty much the majority of airtime, face time, someone we pretty much connected to, either wanted to or not, but we still kind of, had a nice little relationship, if that makes any sense. And if it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, anyway. So we're going to start with the ones that we're going to start with the most prominent and then work down our list.
Yeah, we're going to go from the hierarchy up the totem. We're going to go from the top of the totem pole all the way down. And yeah, we're going to share our personal feelings about it, likes and dislikes, because, believe it or not, some of these people, they do have some admiring attributes. Yeah,
and I have a list, but we're going to talk about each, well, not in depth, but I just thought of something right now as I'm looking at these lists. The first one is the Bhagwan.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
Bhagwan?
Yeah, let's talk. Okay, so it's Bhagwan or Bhagwan? What is it, Carl?
I'm going Bhagwan.
Okay, and the Bhagwan. So as I'm thinking about it, the European and the Indian people said Bhagwan.
So if you have an accent, it's Bhagwan.
But if you're an America, then it was Bhagwan.
Yeah.
Okay, so that made me feel a little bit better that we weren't totally off.
Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's talk about Bhagwan.
And I have my list here, and I just noticed that I put dislikes first. On everyone else, I have likes, and then dislikes.
Well, you know what? It would be it's not surprising. It's not that much of a shock, simply because he didn't say much at all, because he was, what's the word I'm looking for?
Aloof?
You could say aloof. That's a good way of putting it.
Well, the bottom line is...
I mean, the guy barely talked.
Well, the bottom line is, most of these people that we're going to go through, the Bhagwan is passed away. He is not with us anymore. So in this case, all they had was footage from before.
Right.
But let's get into the dislikes of
Sure,
me.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Number 1, he was a master manipulator.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, with him running things behind the scenes, saying he wasn't, he probably played
He wasn't in the know, but he really was.
Yeah.
Also, he was selfish.
Oh, 100%.
He was very selfish. He was greedy.
Yeah. Oh, what gave that away?
Yes,
the Rolls Royces?
The Rolls Royces, $1 million watch.
Sure heck wasn't his dress.
The 2 jets that they owned, I mean, it went on and on and on.
Mm.
I believe he was a liar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
He thinks he's above the law. He thought he was above the law.
Well, because he's a holy man.
That's right. In fact, he was enlightened. He told everyone he was enlightened.
Yeah.
So, of course, he would be above everyone else.
Of course.
He used people for his own advantage.
You think?
And I did not like the way he spoke. I mean, just his...
Like, what do you mean?
Well, his timbre, the way he would say words. I mean, it wasn't just the accent. It was just the way he came off.
Well, I did notice that when he was speaking, he had...
Well, that was especially when he was older.
Yes. And then also when he did that interview that they did in Oregon, there was no lisp, no nothing. And of course, that's...
Oh, you're talking about when he was against Sheila?
No. Part of it, yes. But I'm talking when they already arrested him and he was... I'm sorry, not Oregon. I mean Charlotte. When he got arrested in Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
Remember he was in the prison and they had an interview on him?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't saying, yes, this is
You know
very
why I think
embarrassing.
so? I think because he wasn't on the heavy drugs that the doctor put him under because he was in prison.
Yeah, he was in prison. He got the detox from it.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably...
There we go.
You wouldn't... Doesn't shock me.
Okay. I didn't like what he said.
Like, what do you mean? Like the way his
No,
philosophy?
I didn't like his philosophy. I don't know much about it, but what little I do know, I know I don't like it. Okay.
Well, I noticed that in this whole story, you might think you have an idea of what his teachings were, but then you really don't, because once again, he was silent a lot. So.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying that it's because I wouldn't like a teaching of the Buddhists, or I wouldn't like the teaching of the
Hindu or something.
Anything of that nature.
Right.
It's not that way of not liking it. I believe that his freedom that he gave people was very immoral. So I didn't like it.
All right. No, okay.
Yeah.
Understood. I mean, like I said, this is our own personal feelings. It's
Yes,
not
it
like
is.
law.
So we're not dissecting his
No, we're not dissecting
theology
it. No,
or
we're
his
not doing
doctrine.
That. No.
And I believe he's very vindictive.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, no, because just when the Hollywood crowd ended up coming and taking over, he kind of used them. My personal opinion in regards to that, you could see him playing both sides. So, yeah, I can see it.
And he always tried to hide behind the U.S. laws. And he said in an interview that he believed that, the United States was the land of freedom and the Constitution would protect he and his community.
Right, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. No, you're right.
Now, let's get to my likes.
Oh,
Can
how
I
many
say
likes
it?
do you have? Absolutely.
I liked his throny chair.
That was a sweet chair. Looked like it had great lumbar support.
Did you have any other likes,
Well,
Carl? I mean, I didn't have no other likes.
Well, let's put it this way. I liked his delivery when he did speak. Well, to a certain extent, because he does have the entire audience staring at him. So maybe I'm just mesmerized by that as well. Because, I mean, when you have thousands of people sitting there and you can hear a pin drop, that right there where they say the term silence is deafening. Well, no, it's true.
Okay, fine.
I think that his delivery was, well, it depends on what kind of day he was on, but, his delivery of speech was the delivery of speech. So not how he spoke, but the delivery of it, where he knew he had the crowd's attention. He knew how to play with the crowd. I got to give him respect for that. Not much, but it's still impressive.
What other likes?
Sweet watch. I like the watch.
Yeah, but that's not about him.
Oh, about him? No,
Well, I guess
his beard was cool.
The throny chair.
The throny chair was cool. The beard was sweet.
Okay,
That's all I got. Yeah, I don't have really many high opinions in regards to him. So.
Okay, so let's go on to Sheila.
Ah, yes, Sheila.
Okay, the likes on her was she's a very loyal person.
Absolutely.
She had a lot of determination.
Now that is something that we really, really need to give her praise on that, because the will of that woman to do what she did, and as long as she did, most people would have not. I truly feel that if she channeled that determination somewhere else in the private sector, she would have been extremely successful.
Oh, yes. She had a lot of strength.
Yes, she did.
I liked her assertive / aggressive speech. I know didn't like the aggressiveness so much, but she did have assertive speech, and then she went into aggressive.
I think with her, I didn't like it because for me, it's more of,
Did she inflame people with her speech?
yeah, no, she did. I think with her, it was too, like, no one likes being talked to like they're a 5-year-old, especially myself. So if she came and talked to me, I would have choice words. I'm sorry. You start talking to me like I'm 5. I'm sorry. That's.
Well, that was kind of her shtick.
Yeah. No, I didn't like it.
Okay. I liked her fearlessness.
Yeah, yes. Credit to her on that.
Her organization.
Oh, you have to have fantastic organization skills to have what she pulled off.
She was a very hard worker. She was not lazy.
She was an extremely hard worker.
And she is pretty.
Sure. I mean, I think angles help, but I think that let's put it this way: if she wasn't such an aggressive speaker and didn't get on my, I mean, if I didn't look at her like a ruthless female, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do the dislikes.
She's cute. I'll give her that.
Let's do the dislikes.
Sure.
She has no empathy.
No, she does not.
Even to this day.
No, even to this day.
It's her way or the highway.
Uh-huh.
She's a bully.
Absolutely.
She was a manipulator.
Oh, of course.
She believes she's above the law.
Yeah, no. I think she still feels that she's above the law.
And she's vindictive.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. Especially
Okay.
when she doesn't get her way.
Now, let's go on to our favorite Swami.
Ah, yes. Yes.
The likes for him, a little shorter list, but I did manage to get a few.
Right.
I do like him, but there's some dislikes. The list is farther along. So the likes are he was loyal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that blind loyalty is to this day.
Yes.
To this day.
And he was a true believer.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. For me with him, I look at him kind of going with the blind loyalty on that. I mean, to this day, he takes those teachings so to heart and so personal. And you see that he has the passion for it, but he wasn't as aggressive as Sheila was in regards to that. And for him to come off that he's still doing it, he still practices it, that is extremely admirable.
Yes.
I admire him in that sense.
And then he had a lot of endurance defending the commune.
And that's where it ties with the loyalty and with the true being the true believer that he still is.
But he did
He
have
had a passion for it.
But he did have a different role than Sheila did.
Yeah,
he wasn't in on the inner circle.
I don't think he. You know what? I don't think he was on the inner circle. Did I just whistled?
No, because he didn't even know that he was leaving. I'm sorry, the Bhagwan was leaving.
Yeah, no, he was not in the
it.
inner circle. So, I think for him, with his perspective, I think was a healthy one.
Yes.
Because he was just a believer who just so happened to be a lawyer who was in charge of a lot of things, but he was not in the inner circle, even i.e. the mayor.
KD.
He was more of an inner circle than
right, because he didn't know all about the intrigue and all that, but he was close to the Bhagwan, especially after he got arrested, because he was the only one that could go in. I mean, we talked about that, but that's where he really built his personal relationship with him, and the Bhagwan didn't have any other axe to grind. He was just trying to comfort him and get him strengthened so he could go out and fight for him.
He is a person to be admired. Where you agree with what he believes in or not, it's still completely admirable.
Now, let's go into my dislikes. His refusal to admit Bhagwan's sins, thinks he was innocent.
Yeah, he threw everything on Sheila. Once again, he wasn't in the inner circle, so it's his perspective.
Yes. Failure to see Bhagwan's misuse of commune money and resources.
Yeah, it's hard to ignore them. I mean, the watch is one thing, you can wear it and you don't wear it.
It's $1 million.
I understand that, but the 93 Rolls Royces, that would be like, okay, this is a little too much.
Okay.
But yeah,
failure to see Bhagwan's misuse of U.S. laws.
Agreed.
Okay.
He's a lawyer.
Well, okay.
I mean, he's not going to. Honestly, I think that he knows he's a lawyer. He knows the game. So it's either he's going to be the prosecutor or he's going to be the defense.
True.
So he was a defense lawyer. So he's not going to publicly admit, hey, we did this, we did that. No, his mindset is, how do I protect him versus how can
That's
we get
true.
out of it?
It's a bit like an attorney that's defending a serial killer.
Exactly.
But obviously, Bhagwan was not a serial killer.
No.
Okay, his thinking that Bhagwan was the greatest person on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That was really not, I didn't like that.
Yeah, no, well, our faith versus his, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Okay. And then justifying everything Bhagwan did.
Agreed. He wasn't in that inner circle.
No, okay.
He wasn't in the circle, so.
So now let's move on to Shanti B.
Yeah, me Shanti B or me
Okay,
Shanti
I had
Bakwa.
quite a few likes for her.
Mm.
I think I had the most likes for her.
Okay.
I liked her mannerisms.
Yeah, she was super proper.
I liked her storytelling ability.
Yeah, she got your attention.
Her accent.
Of course.
From Australia.
Absolutely.
Her loyalty.
Of course.
Her genuine belief.
Yes, once again.
Her admission of wrongdoing.
Yeah, you know what? That right there is she the only one that actually admits wrongdoing in this?
Yes.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
Okay, and her
Right.
humbleness.
Yeah, she was humble.
Even when she was in the midst of the whole thing, she was very humble. She would put down, like when she first got to the ashram, and she did all those bathrooms for a whole year.
Yeah, you know what? That's admirable.
She ended up following to Oregon, and then she, all the steps that she did.
Well,
she was the first one to volunteer for the dirty work.
You know
and
what?
I don't think it was out of a lust for that kind of thing.
It was out of loyalty.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was. So I liked her. Now her disliked column is her gullibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And abandoned her family for the Bhagwan. Now, obviously they all went there initially, but emotional abandonment.
Yeah.
Okay, as she talks about later on.
Mm-hmm.
And then she always just went with the flow. She was not a fighter.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless she had to be.
Right. Okay. Now we have Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Okay. Sunny, also known as. I have equal for her. I liked her upbeat personality.
It's very infectious, yes.
Okay. She was nice looking.
You know what? I ain't gonna lie. She's an attractive woman.
And she gave insight to what happened at Rajneeshpuram.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was very matter of fact. I don't think, obviously, she was on their side, but
did you think she maybe was in the inner circle?
no.
Not at the time.
Not with the Sheila.
Now it's different.
No, but I'm saying with the Sheila circle.
Oh no, I'm talking the inner circle.
No, because
she's not really the Hollywood crowd.
No, she's A, not the Hollywood crowd.
No,
B, she wasn't in Sheila's circle. And then the the Bhagwan, he knew who she was because she was a public relations person. But it was more like
she got the softer side of everything.
She was kind of like Swami in that respect. She was important, but at a distance.
Yeah, she had her role and she did it well.
Yeah, and she was very important to him, and just like Swami was very important. And she's a true believer.
Yeah.
Now, the dislikes about, of course, back to it, she defends the Bhagwan.
Once again, not in the inner circle, so
didn't take any responsibility for what happened.
Well, let's stop for just a second on that. Now, as far as that goes, what do you think? I mean, when you say that she didn't take any responsibility, what did she really do? I mean, besides be the public, the public.
Oh, I'm
face.
sorry. So I think that maybe I should have said the responsibility, like the group responsibility, not her personal responsibility.
Well, you know what? If you notice that she didn't really say anything negative about Sheila either.
No.
So, okay.
Okay. Then she acts a little naive.
I think because she was so young. Now I'm going to defend her on this one a little bit. I think she was put up in a position to just know just enough to be naive. So that's not really... I mean, she was super young when she came in. Now, later on, different story. I'm not going to get into it. If you want to find out, you can just Google it. Okay, I mean, she was in a...
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
so
she's a sweetie,
I
in
guess
my
she's very sweet.
Yes.
Okay, so the overall feeling of how the story was told.
Right.
Now, I have some points that I'd like to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved all the original film footage.
Oh, I love the film footage. That was, oh man, it was so good to see
Well,
that
I mean,
graininess.
well,
and
the
you see the
between
little
what
lines.
between between what the Rajneeshis filmed themselves
Yeah.
and the news people
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
and all that.
Yeah.
And all the
it
different.
told the story for you for the most part.
Exactly. So it was well documented.
Very well
in
documented.
film.
And you know what? Kudos to the people who put this together, because honestly, they did a fantastic job of doing this. I just the footage alone is to be commended completely.
Okay. I love the music that went with
Oh.
each scene. Of course, I know, Carl, you really love
Oh
that.
man, the music. Perfect placing, perfect everything. I mean, it oh man.
So what happened
Because-
is they had two different, like they had real people singing.
Yeah, they used real songs.
And then they had this background music that was
The-
composed by a person for the film.
Yeah, what is that called again? It's you have the score. The score.
Yeah. He did the score,
I-
and it was pretty good.
It honestly that like I said in the beginning, the first episode, it's a character in this play. It's in the background.
And I do know that they kept all of the music as a Western theme.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't any kind of like Eastern, kind of music. It was
Yeah.
I meant Western, meaning like a wild country, like the
that
Wild
song,
West.
Wild Country. Oh.
Not like the Western world, but like the real West in the 1800s, kind of.
Yeah.
that
No.
feel.
They. I can go on for days about the music, but yes, absolutely.
I liked how they were all the sides of the story were told from different perspectives.
Yes, you know what? It was one of those things where, in certain points, you were kind of pulling for the Rajneesh, and then you were kind of pulling for the government on another, because the way you see both sides of the perspective.
And then you were pulling for Antelope.
Yeah, you started pulling for Antelope. Oh man, those people from Antelope. It really, the way they told the story on all three ends,
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
technically three ends. They really played with your emotions on it, and kudos.
Yeah, and I like the interview style with each character that had a part of the story to tell.
Yeah.
So there was individuals in rooms with the lighting. There's the library with Shanti B.
Yeah, that
There
was a nice look.
Swami's office in the woods.
Yeah.
The attorneys in their conference rooms in downtown offices.
Yeah.
Sunshine in a big, large, empty room.
Big, large,
and
empty room, yeah.
Sheila was in her room with the Bhagwan's memorabilia in the background.
Yeah.
So everybody had their own character room.
Yeah, and that was nice too. Yeah.
And they would have different angles, of
Yeah,
course.
because especially
film
with
them.
Swami, when he was talking about some dark stuff in his personal life, not when
Yes.
he's talking about he's going through his transition, the way the lighting was, it kind of made him look a little evil. So it had that like you scare me kind of looks. But no, I mean, but when he was talking about when his personality came out, when he started smiling and stuff, the lighting made him look jovial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so any more on that?
What about the people from Antelope? We got to talk about them a little bit.
Well, the main two that
You had
we
Mr.
have
Bowerman.
Mr. Bowerman, who was Jim Bowerman, the guy with the hat.
Mr. Hat, yes.
Okay, he had his own room, and then there was, of course, Mr. John Silvertooth,
yes.
and he was the best guy in the Antelope
Such
crowd.
a sweetie pie.
And he had all his room with his memorabilia.
Yeah.
Now, the McGreers, they were part of the story, so they just sat on the couch and they did their
I think that each
their
room
interview.
Well, because if you take a look at Mr. Bowerman, I mean, he's still a rancher now.
Mm-hmm.
He was in basically, it looked like his rancher's barn.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it could have been. Yeah, I mean, it that whole thing too is it was fascinating how they were able to do, repeat myself.
Those are those things. Now, are we going to move on to how did this make us feel personally?
Yeah, for me, there's a lot of highs and lows emotionally with this. Because there are a lot of times where I to this day, I still genuinely feel bad for what Swami went through. Because he was put in a position to where he had to defend, and you could see when he was defending that there was a passion and a genuine love for the community, a passion and genuine love for the belief system, a genuine passion and love for the ranch. I felt exhausted for him going through those highs and
And
lows.
to this day, he was supposed to write a book. He's writing it.
He's
It's
still
been
writing
35
it. Yeah, 35
years.
I think that just for me, from my personal perspective, it looks at him that it still tears at him. It still tears at him because, we're talking how many years of his life?
Well, so,
that too, and then I have nothing to say about the Bhagwan and how I felt towards him. I was like, dude, you're lucky you lived a life and you didn't really do much. You really didn't do much, and you lived on
his talk. He lived on what he had said, his speech.
He had this belief system. This is how
But
they
even
were.
in India, they did not like him.
I didn't like him either, but maybe it's jealousy. I mean,
No.
No, you don't think so? Well,
No, because he had criminal activity, taxes, the way that the immoral
Yeah,
basis of his belief system, the freedom. I mean,
I feel I didn't feel bad for him when he passed away. I just don't. Sean TB, she's blessed for what she went through, and what she got out of. She's fortunate and blessed on that end. And same with Sheila. Sheila as well, man. There are times where I'm pulling for her, and there are times I wanted to just.
I think we were pulling for Shanti B the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that for me, when it came to Sean TB, was that like, come on, girl, don't be this dumb. Don't get in that van. What are you doing going to Texas?
Yeah, well, it's
Girl, it's just like you have a soft spot for it because you think her as like the soft ant.
that's true.
You're just like, oh, come on, man. You're supposed to be in a rose garden, planting some veggies or something. What are you talking about? You sitting at McDonald's smoking my first cigarette for the first time. It just like, oh, come on. Don't be so gullible.
Right, so you were rooting for her the whole time. And then with Sheila.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about Sheila.
I really, admired her for a lot of things, although she is, I don't know, at this point in her life, she's not the same person. She's moved on.
Not. She's moved on.
She was influenced by the Bhagwan, and evidently there was a very traumatic thing that happened to her at 16 years old. So the Bhagwan helped her out in that situation, which cemented their relationship and went forward. Now, he was the one that was training her. So she had it in her, but he was able to get that out of her to use it to advance his cause, and it advanced her cause to a degree too. Right. She keeps learning. She keeps, advancing. She's older now. She's 70 years old. And she's in Switzerland, and now she's got this movie and a platform to, bounce off whatever she wants to bounce off if she still wants to.
Right.
And she did write a book. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it's Don't Kill Him. I think it's called Don't Kill Him. Yeah, and It's my life with the Bhagwan. Bhagwan, she's Rajneesh.
Okay. I admired her for a lot of things that she did. And, of course, condemned her for a lot of other things.
Yeah, I think when it comes to her attributes, you have to be numb not to sit there and say, yeah, she handled her business. Mm-hmm. You have to respect it. Whether you like it or not, you have to give her that respect. But, for her, she's very fortunate as well to be in the position that she's in.
That's how it made me feel. The Swami, I don't know if I like him or not. I do. I think I like him more than I don't. I know he wants to be left alone, so that's fine. But
very neutral.
I felt after I saw this whole documentary and thought about it, would I be there? No. Okay. Well, there was no way I would have been there.
I mean, when you take a look at the belief system that we see, the only thing that we saw was, the joy, the dancing, the sex, and that's it. It's like, well, wait a minute. I mean, it was called a sex cult multiple times over, but
I think that there was a lot of that, but they didn't want to dwell on it. They wanted to get that story out. But so as far as I was concerned, I would not be there. The other thing, though, I did not like about this was how they played up this so-called bigotry of the Oregonians as a whole, Antelope specifically, and Wasco County.
Right. I agreed. I think when you start throwing those,
they're a little bit pejorative, They're like, you're name calling.
When you start slinging that kind of hate, Because that's to me, that's when you're slinging that kind of those words out there. There's some hate inside of you that you need to address yourself, because these are simple people, and I don't mean that in a negative sense. These people like to have eggs and bacon and a cup of coffee for breakfast.
Well,
they're just
yeah.
they're it's such a simplistic lifestyle that they're just.
Okay, can I say this?
Yes.
It's like any place. If you have this kind of culture and you try to infuse a whole opposite kind of culture, it wouldn't matter where. If you were
It's
in
from
India,
one end to the other. Absolutely.
if you were in India, if you're in Europe, in South America, and you totally, do some kind of a totally different, insert a different culture in the middle of something else, it doesn't matter. It's just human nature.
Yes.
And so to throw names like, they have this one clip of the mayor, the white lady mayor, that says, "I don't think there's a place for the United States for these people."
That's wrong.
Well, I think they clipped it. I would have liked to know what she
The
said
full story of what she
before
said.
and what she said after, because they clipped it real quick.
To a certain extent, if that's what the feeling was around there, here's my thing. The Rajneesh could have done it different. They could have done it different. It's not like you got to get accustomed to it, man. You can't just shove it down their throat and say deal with it.
Right, but
you can't do that, because it is. You're right. It's human nature to fight against. Like, whoa, 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 whoa! Don't sit there and tell me my happy lifestyle, and it's a simple one at that. That it's garbage.
Well, I don't think they said that. They just wanted.
But that's how they took it, I think.
Okay, what I'm saying is, and we won't go much longer on
Right.
it, is the Rajneeshis didn't say that the antelope had garbage lifestyles. They just wanted to do what they wanted to do.
And then
okay?
they didn't get their
and
way,
they
like
wanted
mentioning children.
they wanted everybody to accept it. They felt that somehow that the American Constitution, the American laws, our freedom of religion and everything else, that would be protected, even though they knew that they were doing something totally opposite of what the American society had as a whole.
Right.
And they felt that they were going to get protected.
Well,
and most of these people were from Europe, okay?
Yeah.
So they're not these people that were born and raised in the United States. Yes, there was some, but had a lot of Europeans. Every time they had a mic in front of somebody, they were from Europe.
different countries, yeah. Well, no one's saying they couldn't do their religion. No one ever said they could not do it. They were never
right. They could do their little prayers.
They could do their
and
prayers. They could do whatever they wanted on the ranch, except for create a city.
Other than that, do you have any other wrap-up thoughts?
You know what? Like I said, man, big shout out to the people who made this. Man, you tell a fantastic story. We've watched each episode at least 5 times just for this podcast, not including the original time I saw it, and again I saw it. So at least 7 times I watched the each episode, and I learned something new from it, and it's a fantastic tragedy.
No, it was it's historical.
It's historical, and you know what?
It was tragic for some, not for others.
No, yeah.
So, Carl, as we wrap this up, let's tell them how they can contact us.
Okay, yeah. So just once again, guys, like I said, we are on Anchor, we are on Stitcher, we are on iTunes.
Apple, iTunes. Yeah. Apple.
We're on anything that you can get a podcast from. We're on. Once again,
Colt's Coffee and Conversation.
Colt's Coffee and Conversation. I'm getting there. Relax. Jeez. But like I said, hit us up on Twitter, Colt's Coffee Convo. Also at Instagram, Colt's Coffee Convo. Facebook, Colt's Coffee Conversation. And of course, email coltscoffeeconvo@gmail.com. Like us, subscribe to us, leave 5 stars. Let us know what you think. I hope you guys are enjoying what we're doing.
Yes, and we will be starting. We're not gonna announce it right yet. We'll have another trailer coming up.
Yes.
For our next series.
Our next series is correct.
Coffee
of Colts and
Conversation.
Conversation.
So for right now, that's it.
All right. So good night, Holly.
Good night, Holly.